Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Melissa featuring Diamond Aaliyah. She's our model for today. So today we got our infamous cut crease tutorial. So first we're going to start off with the brows. So what I usually like to do is I like to put a little bit of setting powder on the brows just to set it so that your pencil will show up longer, show up better, and the eyebrows will last longer because it's going to make it matte. So what I'm doing right now, I'm outlining her brows. So I'm starting at the base of the brows, basically going along with the shape that she already has. Alright, and now we're doing the top. So as you can see, Diamond has really thick eyebrows. So we don't need to make it any thicker than what it is. So we're going to keep the shape that she has, and we're just going to outline. I'm on the second brow. So I hope you guys are enjoying this little tutorial because I know it's been a long overdue. So now I'm filling it in. So as you can see, I'm doing long strokes. When you're filling it in, especially for somebody like Diamond, she doesn't need too much. Okay, she already has thick eyebrows. We don't need to make them really dark because then she's gonna have Chewbacca eyebrows. Okay, that's not cute. You don't want to be that person. Alright, so we're filling it in, and then I brushed it out. I didn't show it on camera, but I did brush it out. So what I'm doing now is that I'm concealing the bottom. Alright, so as you can see, I'm using this brush is from Bedelium Tools. It's 936. Alright, it's very thin, and it's a little bit bigger than the Crayon C469 brush, so it works really well. Okay, so I'm outlining the bottom, and then now I'm gonna outline the top. Now for the bottom, I'm using a color that's a little bit lighter than her complexion, like 1 to 2 shades lighter. You don't want to go any lighter. Well, you can if that's what you want, but I try not to go really light because I feel like it stands out in a bad way and it just looks too much. Okay, and then now we're moving on to the top. Now for the top, I'm using a color that's a little bit closer to her complexion. Okay, because you don't want the top to be crazy light because that's going to give you halo brows. Okay, and we're in 2019, we don't need no more halo brows. Okay, I feel like we learned our lesson. Okay, no more. Alright, so as you can see, I'm following her shape. I'm going as close to the brows as possible without trying to get too much into the hairs. Okay, we don't need to make her brows any thicker than what they are. We're just going to keep the shape. Now if your client wants thicker brows, obviously make it thicker, but her brow shape is good. Now we're going to blend it out, and this brush that I'm using is from Real Techniques. It's called a spot corrector brush. So any like dense fluffy brush will work for this step. Now I'm using a brow gel. Now the pencil that I used was from L'Oreal, and it was in the color brunette, and then this brow gel is also from L'Oreal, and it's clear. Now we're going to prime her eyes. So I'm starting off with the Helen E Backstage Primer, and I'm using that same Real Technique brush to buff it out. Alright, after I have it on, I'm going to blend out the edges, and I usually use a little bit of the concealer that's on the brush, and I use that to blend out the edges because you don't want any harsh edges. Okay, once you have it blended to your liking, we're going to start off with the eyeshadow. So I'm using the Juvias Place Magic palette for this part, and I'm using that orange color, and I'm putting it on. As you guys know, I like to tap my eyeshadows. I don't like to drag, and I don't like to swirl around my brush. I like to tap because I feel like you get more color payoff, and I feel like it just looks better. It's easier, it's cleaner, it just looks airbrushed. So I usually start from the middle, and then I move to the outer edges. Alright, now we're moving on to that pink color, and this is from the Juvias Place Masquerade palette. This is the color Zobo. So we're placing this a little bit further down from that orange color, and we're just starting from the middle. We're blending it in and out, and then we're gonna kind of overlap the colors together. So as you can see, tap, and as you can see, the colors just like, it just blends so much easier. Like this method, guys, I'm telling you, is it. Okay, if you don't do this, you're doing something wrong, for real. So now we're gonna go back in with that orange color. This is from the Magic palette, and then we're just gonna get the edges of the pink color. We're gonna blend that out to make sure they mesh well together, and then also this ensures that we don't lose too much of the orange color. We still want that orange color to show through, so we always have to keep bringing it back. Alright, so after I feel like I have that blended, I'm going back to the pink one more time just to make sure everything is good. Then lastly, we're moving on to the same Juvias Place Masquerade palette, and we're using a color called Ada, I think I'm saying it wrong, but it's like a reddish brown color. Okay, so we're going to use that to darken up the crease, and we're doing that color a little bit further down from that pink color. Now I'm moving back to the pink, and I'm blending out the edges of that reddish brown color. So you're always kind of like adding colors, overlapping them, and then you're blending out the edges. That's the key to blending. That's what I found works best for me. It might not work for you, but it works for me. And a lot of my students like it. So now we're gonna go back to the orange color one last time, and then we're gonna blend out the edges of the pink. So as you kind of repeat the steps and you get darker, you wanna do those same steps over, just to ensure that you're always bringing back the colors. Okay, we are blending. Okay, do you see it blended? Okay, so now we're moving on to cutting the crease. Now we're cutting the crease, guys. So first, what I like to do is I like to place little dots. So this is easier to follow. So what I'm doing is I'm placing a dot, well, line on the inner and the outer corner. Okay, and then now I'm gonna do little in-between dots. So you kind of want to make it in the shape of a circle. So I usually do the inner, the outer corner, the highest point, which is the middle, and then I fill in the little gaps. Okay, after we have that, I'm gonna connect the dots. So I find it easier to do a cut crease like that because you're not guessing what shape you're doing. You already have an outline. It's like a little cheat guide. So it helps you to create the cut crease easier, and it makes it more sharp, and it's more efficient, in my opinion. It makes me work faster. So after I have that shape, if I want to fix it up, I'll just go back and change anything that I don't like. But the outline, I'm telling you guys, it helps so much. So I usually do the inner corner, then the outer corner, then the middle, and then I do in between. Honestly, try this method, guys. Let me know if it works, because it's bomb. Okay, so now I'm doing the other cut crease, and you guys see how fast I'm working, and I'm getting a good shape. It's not perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect yet, but it's close enough. It's better. Okay, now I'm just gonna perfect the shape, make it nice and round. And you want to use very light pressure on the brush. If you press on the brush too much, the Inglot gel liner won't glide as smooth. So I find that when I'm using a little bit of pressure, it works better. Alright, so now this is our glitter mix. So I'm gonna make a separate video on how I mix glitters. I mix silver, blues, and purples for this glitter, and I'm gonna try to list the different glitters that I use. I don't remember, but I think I remember. Not every glitter, because I did use a lot of glitters for this look. So what I'm doing now is I'm gonna use my finger, and I'm gonna pick up more of the chunky pieces first. Okay, and the glue that I use for the glitter is the Duo Lash Glue. It's the one in the green and white tube. Okay, so we apply that first, and then now we're using our fingers to apply more of the chunky pieces. And as you can see, I'm spreading those chunky pieces around so that it's not too much chunky pieces in one area. You want to make sure you have them spread around nicely. Okay, and when you do this step, do not, I repeat, do not press too hard, because if you press too hard, it's gonna lift up the base, and then you're just gonna be upset because it's gonna mess you up. So now I'm using a brush, and this brush is from Crayon. I don't remember the brush. As you can see, it's very old. It doesn't have a name on it. Okay, so now I'm using the brush, and when I use the brush, I did wet it with some setting spray because it helps you pick up more glitter. And I'm basically getting more of the smaller pieces to fill in the edges. Okay, as you can see, you're starting to get that effect. You see it? You see the glitter effect? Yes. I mixed so much glitters for this look, guys. I was like, I want to do a purple, bluish, silverish. That was my thought. So now I'm using J. LaRue. This is Blue Light Special. Okay, make sure you guys use my coupon code for 20% off. So with the pigment, you don't need to wet it. I usually, if I'm doing a look without glitter, I usually do not use the glue. You don't need the glue. So now I'm doing her eyeliner, and for her eyeliner, I'm using the Wet n Wild megaliner. So usually when I do eyeliner, I drag out the top of the wing first, and then I connect it to the bottom, and then I do the very inner corner, and then I fill it in. I'm gonna do like a slower version of the eyeliner, but you guys kind of see how I do it here. It's a little complicated. Now we're gonna put some Inglot gel liner number 77 in her waterline. Okay, we're getting that on there. And then I'm also extending out her inner corner. So we're gonna make that inner corner cat eye. So now we're wiping away the glitter. So to wipe away the glitter, I used a baby wipe and Neutrogena oil-free makeup remover. Okay, we're moisturizing her face and I'm using Pond's. We're gonna blend it out using the beauty blender. It looks like I'm being so rough with her, but I'm not, guys. I'm not. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of Milk Magnesia as her primer to just mattify. You don't want to use too much of this product because if you do, it kind of messes up the way your makeup looks and it looks too dry. So for her foundation, as you guys remember from my previous video, I always make my clients a little bit darker. I'm using the Lancome 500 and 470, I believe. Okay, so now we're just blending out the foundation, and to blend out the foundation, we're using tapping motions. Okay, you want to tap, tap, tap. All right, and as you can see, the foundation looks really smooth. Okay, always make sure you blend out around the edges, and I always add a little bit more foundation around the mouth just to cover up any darkness. Okay, and then now we're using the beauty blender. So now we're moving on to concealer. So to conceal her under eyes, I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and this is the color Deep First to just conceal, and then now we're gonna go with Tan Deep Sand to highlight. All right, we're going to highlight down the bridge of her nose, her forehead, basically everywhere you would normally do it. I'm sorry guys, the camera keeps kind of focusing in and out, so I hope that doesn't bother you guys. So now we're gonna go and cream contour her face. So I'm using the Black Opal foundation stick in Suede Mocha, and I'm going around the perimeter of her face, basically around her forehead, her jawline, and her cheeks. And I don't usually cream contour the nose, so we don't need to do that. I'm just cleaning up the inner wing here, making sure it's nice and sharp. Do you guys see that concentration on my face though? And then now I'm cleaning up the wing. And do y'all see the cut crease? Oh, I'm so proud of my work. So now we're gonna blend it out. So I'm starting with the chin, and then I'm gonna move on to the upper lip. Basically, I'm doing the center of the face first, and then I'm gonna do the under eyes last. Okay, and then I always go back to the brush and get the edges just to make sure there are no harsh lines. All right, and then now we're gonna blend out the under eyes. You see how I always let the concealer dry, and you see how it just blends out so easily, effortlessly. It just blends right in. Going in with the foundation brush to get the edges. Okay. We're getting the edges, and notice how her foundation now matches her skin. Before it was a little too dark, but now it matches. So this is what I do on all my clients to avoid them looking ashy. You don't want your clients looking ashy at all. Okay, no ashy clients. Even though sometimes we make mistakes, trust me, I make mistakes too, but I try to avoid them. So now I'm using my black radiance powder in the color Honey Glow, and I'm gonna lightly preset her under eyes. Okay, and then after I do that, I'm gonna be using my Fenty powder in the color Honey, the Pro Filter powder. And you don't want to use too much powder, so make sure you don't overdo it. And I'm using a dry beauty blender this time. So you're basically gonna set the areas that you put the concealer down. Okay, and then after that, I'm using the Crayon Case powder. I believe this is the color Y. Okay, it's something a little bit closer to her complexion, and I'm going to set underneath her contour, basically carve it out, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of that powder to her smile lines to avoid creasing. Okay, now we're gonna move on to that pink eyeshadow that we used in the crease, and we're putting it underneath her eyes. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the glitter under eye. So I'm using the Urban Decay Midnight Cowboy glitter liner, and then the glitter that we're using is from Ambrosia Cosmetics. I have a coupon code with them. It's Beauty by Melissa for 20% off. Use it if you would like to buy some glitters. Okay, so we're gonna put that right on top of that glitter liner. And I'm only doing it halfway. So now we're adding some mascara to her bottom lashes just to make those stand out some more, and then we're gonna do the top lashes. Okay, after we do that, we're gonna wipe away that setting powder. I'm wiping it away with the Real Technique setting brush. I love this brush, guys, it's so good. I'm gonna wipe it away, and then after I wipe it away, I press the powder into the skin. And I'm using that same Black Radiance powder that we used from before to do this step. And then I'm wiping away the powder on her jawline. And to do this step, I'm using the MAC Studio Fix powder in NC47. Okay, I'm wiping it away and then I'm pressing it in. So now I'm contouring her face. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Mahogany Bronzer. I love this bronzer, so good, especially for medium skin tones. And then now I'm adding a little blush. This is MAC Ambering Rose on the apples of the cheeks. And then now you know the 3-step highlight, guys. So I'm starting off with the Kiko 234 highlighter, and then I'm gonna go with the Dose of Colors Royal Hotness. You guys should know this by now. Like, if y'all watch me and if y'all watch my last couple of videos, y'all should know, you know, it's a process. Okay. And then I think the last highlighter that I used was the Crayon Case Honor Roll highlighter. So now we're gonna go back into the Mahogany Bronzer, and we're gonna contour her nose. Okay, and then I'm using my beauty blender to make sure it's not harsh. And now we're moving on to the lips. So this is Morphe Trendsetter lip liner. I'm gonna outline her lips. Yes, girl. And then I was using MAC Peachstock lipstick. And then we're gonna use a gloss. Yes, setting spray. This is the Mario Badescu. And then we're just making sure to pat out the setting spray with the beauty blender just to make sure her skin looks perfect. Yes. Yes. Do you guys see this look? I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So guys, thank you guys for watching. This is the final look. Be sure to like, subscribe, and make sure you guys are tuned in to all my videos by pressing the bell notification so that you guys can be notified. Bye guys.